I was born in Memphis, Tennessee. During the time that I was there, Dr. King was killed. That memory is so vivid to me. I was in Head Start. I remember my older cousin picking myself and some of my other younger cousins up from school but didn't know what was going on. And when we got outside, seeing the police, the cars burning, people running, I remember one vivid thing is that as a kid, you think about the stores that you go to and you buy your candy. Well, the corner store that we went to buy our candies and 2 for a penny cookies, which was really big in the South during that time period, was on fire. And I just remember thinking, wow, where are we gonna go now that the store is not there anymore, because we can't walk any further than that. I didn't realize everything that was going on until I got home and my parents started to explain what was going on and that kind of thing. That memory is forever etched in my mind. In fact, when the Sherman Park uprising happened, all I could think of was the kids. And when the gas station was on fire, because my mom lived, when she lived in Milwaukee, she lived on 40th and Burleigh. That was the store. That was the store that all the kids went to get their snacks and everything. And I just remember how heartbreaking that must be for the kids, because I remember that feeling for myself when Dr. King was killed.
I have very fond memories of MLK Day. I was an MPS student. I went to Sherman Elementary, Lincoln Middle School, and John Marshall High School. And when I was in elementary school, I participated in the essay contest years ago, and I don't recall winning or anything along those lines, but I had so much pride in putting together this essay and submitting it to the competition and going to the Performing Arts Center with my peers and being able to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King.
Well, when I think about Dr. King and honoring the legacy, I think about one of his more popular quotes, which suggests that the most persistent and urgent question is, what are we going to do for others? And so as I reflect on what I'm going to do for others, I've been thinking about being a better listener, paying attention to how people that are different than I am are feeling and what they're thinking, making myself available to have challenging conversations, and just moving forward in the spirit of wanting to do things for other people.
We would like to honor the legacy of Dr. King by continuing to build on that great foundation that he left for us. Obviously, he was a great advocate for social justice, and that's a lot of the foundation of the work that I get to do as a leader at Froedtert Health, really building on social justice through health justice and really carrying on strategies that will allow diverse communities to have greater access, employment opportunities, and certainly the level of care that they deserve throughout our communities.
We at the Greater Milwaukee Foundation honor and cherish the legacy of Dr. King each and every day. We have made a generational commitment to advancing racial equity in this community, and that means ensuring that all people, regardless of race, ethnicity, zip code, have the opportunity to achieve their dreams in education, health, stable and affordable housing, economic security, and economic opportunity. We will work with partners throughout the community over the next year and beyond to achieve that vision.
My grandfather was a sanitation worker. Dr. King was in Memphis to help the sanitation workers get better working conditions. And my family participated in all of the marches and protests during that time period, to include being present when he did his last speech, where he'd been to the mountaintop. My grandfather, my mom, and my uncles and aunts were all present during that time period. And I remember April 4th like it was yesterday. Although I was only 4.5 years old, I remember everything that happened during that time period. And as a dedication to his legacy, I always swore that I would do something to help other people, which just led me to the Milwaukee Police Department. I've never forgotten the sacrifice of Dr. King that not only helped my family, but also helped this country.
I think one of the things that we've recognized at the City of Milwaukee is that we have a concentration of areas of the city where these disparities exist at an alarming rate. I'm going to work with the other entities in the City of Milwaukee, all of the stakeholders here, to have a comprehensive approach to dealing with those disparities in those neighborhoods, so that the fact that you are born in a particular zip code, in a particular neighborhood, should not determine the outcome of the success of your life. So, we've attempted to draw some of those boundaries in the City of Milwaukee through an effort called Promise Zones. I think that there's more promotion and collaboration that can be built around that effort, and a recognition that we all have a responsibility in making sure that we close those gaps and create opportunities for young people that live in this city.
We attack kind of all of these efforts through our social responsibility that we feel is needed as a citizen of the community of Milwaukee, of the state of Wisconsin, and the country. And we take them very seriously. We attach ourselves with communities, with social actions, and with youth-serving organizations like the Y that really affect change and really focus on how can we metrically change what's happening in the country, whether it's the health metrics of our youth, whether it's social awareness and diversity in our workplace, or social justice in and around our justice system. And that's what we focus on a daily basis, and what we do is marry ourselves with organizations like the Y to really punctuate our effectual change.
I fundamentally believe that education is the great equalizer. And the work that Corey and I have done in the community of Milwaukee, and even when I was in Chicago and Denver, we very much focus on education. And so if we can educate children in the lowest of incomes, we give them an opportunity to inspire, to have careers that takes them and their families to places they've only dreamed of. And so education, if we can get quality education right in the city, then I think we start attacking the other four health determinants.
It's very important for the health department to exercise its community health improvement plan, which is called Milwaukee Elevate. That plan was developed in 2017 and will go until 2022. And there's 3 focus points for Milwaukee Elevate. The first one is fair and inclusive society, which addresses racism, all forms of racism. The next is mental health, making sure individuals have access to mental health services that are culturally appropriate. And then the third is related to economic stability and security. So how do we enable Milwaukeeans to live their best lives? How are people able to get jobs that will enable them to take care of their families without having to work 3 and 4 jobs to have a meaningful income? So what are we doing as employers to make sure that wages are fair? What are we doing to make sure that there's access to mental health services and referrals that are actually being followed through? And then how are we addressing racism? So there's a lot of work that still needs to happen, but the city is committed to helping to dismantle this by the way that we hire, by the way that we support staff, and by the way we serve the community.
When people are wondering on King Day, hey, what's the best way for me to honor King? To help live out and help realize and manifest the world that he kept pointing us towards, which is one where all the racial inequities that there are right now. At the county, we recently became the first municipality in the United States to declare racism a public health crisis. The declaration is words and a statement, and that maybe serves to let people know and elevate the discussion. What's important is what else we're doing. So every single employee gets racial equity training, and we have thousands of employees, and it's not a 15-minute online course, it's 4 4-hour sessions, and it's about history, and it's about statistics, so people understand, no, it's not a little bit of a disparity, it's a lot, and it isn't just recent, it's been going on for well over 150 years. Second, every single budget decision we make at the county, and we have 41 business lines, every hiring decision, every appointment to a commission or board is informed by racial equity, and the question, how is this decision, no matter what the department, how is this going to impact in a positive way the African American community in Milwaukee? And can we make it a better impact? So that's changing the way we allocate resources. It's changing the way a lot of policies and procedures. I'm heartened by the fact that there's a broader conversation, not least because of efforts of groups like the Y to elevate it always. There's a broader conversation and awareness in Milwaukee than I think there ever been. You hear people talking about race disparities a lot more, and that is an important part. But we deliver as a society a better outcome when talking's the beginning, but real change happens when we change laws, we change policy, and we change behavior. And there's probably no better way to honor Dr. King than work hard towards the world that he pointed us towards.